All right, welcome in. See what the heck's going on here tonight in Radio Land. Ham Radio Luna, hello. Hello, everybody. Come on in. We're kind of just messing around just for a little while here. Just going to be a short little live. Don't think it's going to be too long, but all
Okay.
right.
Yeah, and we can do a match. Y si quiero hacer un 4x4, solo tengo que invitar dos más.
Ajá, exacto, lo mismo.
Okay.
Ahí se mete. Yeah.
Okay, so now let's do a host invite for... As soon as Radios with Jackson comes up, we'll get him in. Gracias, mi amor.
Y ya
All right.
¿Quieres sacar los sellos acá?
Okay. Actually, Travis, if you want, we could do one with just me against you.
Sure. What do we do, buddy?
Yeah. So I'm going to start it like this.
All right. Accept that.
Okay. So the rules are basically whoever can get the most individual likes. So like if somebody likes taps the screen, I think it's like 5 times. Each person will give you 3 points. So we have like 5 minutes. And then if you look on your live, do you see a little microphone next to my name?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I see like a speaker.
Yeah. Whenever you do the speaker, yeah. Whenever you do these, you can just mute me, and you and your audience will only just hear your live. So you can kind of just do your own thing during the battle itself, and then just see whoever gets the most likes. It's a pretty simple game.
All right. Well, heck yeah. Let's do it here. I'll mute you. You can mute me, and we'll just kind of roll with it. Sound good?
Sweet. Yep. Yeah. Well, I'll just play radio over here and talk to people.
All right. All right, guys. We're playing radio over here. Let's see if we can't beat this dude. I've never done this before, but let's rock and roll it. I don't know what to really be doing here, but thanks for the likes. I appreciate the likes. Tap my deal there, my radio on the left-hand side. The IC 7300, that guy right there. The one that's moving around. I'll show you guys the shack a little bit here while we're doing it. There we go. Right on, guys. Good deal. There we go. Look at that big old Dentron Clipperton L. She's ready to go. All fired up, tuned up on 20 meters. Thanks for the likes. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for coming in there. There we go. Here's a little picture of the shack. Kind of rolling around here. There's my boom mic. That's how I key everything up. That one there is how I key that guy up. That one there is how I key up that amplifier and that radio right there. I think the same microphone for both. That's why there's 2 XLR cables. Come on in, guys. We got QSL cards on the wall over here. All kinds of stuff going on. We got about 2.5 minutes left here. Let's see if we can rock and roll this. We even got QSL cards on the ceiling. We're running out of room on the walls. We got radio going on. Hanging on 20 meters tonight. For a little while. Liam the Goose, right on, buddy. I appreciate you. Come on in, everybody. Tap, tap, tap. Whiskey 7, Tango Victor Sierra.
Tango America Victor Sierra, loud and clear, 59 plus, I think 20 here into Massachusetts. Mike Alpha, we are School Club QSL.
Roger. I appreciate the School Club being on the air. You're about a 5'9 plus 5 over here into Belt, Montana there. Roger.
Roger the plus 5 into Montana. Thanks very much for your contact today in 73.
73, sir. Have a great day.
Thank you. QRZ, School Club Roundup, Whiskey 1 Kilo, Bravo, November.
That's what it looks like when we make a good contact there and throw a KW at him, and
Mike Papa Victor, 59
you know.
here into Massachusetts. Mike Alpha, we're School Club QSL.
That's a school club doing that, so that's awesome. Hello, babe. I see me in there. Tap the screen where the radio's at, darling.
Your peak is plus 20 here as well in Massachusetts. So thanks very much for contacting today.
I think it mattered. I don't know. Maybe you can only vote once. I have no idea. But keep on tapping here because we're just about caught up.
I've got a Kilo Delta 9, I believe, one more time.
All right, we got like less than a minute. Uh-oh, we're tied. Come on, we got to get somebody else here to tap the left side of the screen there where the 7300 is. Let's see if we can't beat him. We got like 30 seconds left. Mary Ivy, hello. Give me some taps. We got like 25 seconds left. We need some taps. Pete, 33, hello. Thank you, guys. Crystal Harris joined. Come on in. I need the tap. There we go. Thank you. Miss Magnolia, I need some more. Down to the wire here.
Pulled it off.
Here we go, buddy. That's it. Bam.
Yep. You got it. You pulled it off.
Okay, so what do we do now?
Okay, I say this first one doesn't count because it was your first time and we didn't really know what we were doing. So I think going forward, also if we get 2 more people, we'll do double. We'll do 2 against 2. But going forward, we'll agree on the thing ahead of time. So like what people normally do is just something silly. Like when me and my wife do TikTok battles, usually like we'll say like we'll put flour on your face or something like that.
Oh, okay.
Or draw a mustache on your face, or I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. You got me, man. All I know how to do is play radio on TikTok, more or less.
Yeah. Yeah, we could do it without the bets. We could just do battles if you want.
Yeah, either way, I don't know, man. I just kind of whatever.
Yeah, me too. The battles I think bring in people. So yeah, I say let's do another one, and we'll just do it without a bet.
Okay.
Sweet. We'll try one. We'll try it again.
All right. Do we want to mute each other again, or what are you thinking here?
If you don't want to, we can hang out together. So I have somebody over here asking about he said GMRS or CB radio. And he said that CB is pretty dead in his area, or he was thinking about GMRS or ham radio because CB is pretty dead in his area. So I was telling him, I basically asked him what he wants to do with it because there's kind of different use cases, I think. But in my opinion, GMRS is kind of taking over what CB used to be, if that makes sense. Like if you're doing like overland or you want to like talk to your buddies, it seems like a lot of people are moving to GMRS for that kind of stuff.
I do agree with you on that. I will say that CB radio definitely has its place. I have a couple that I keep around and don't have any hooked up, but I do have the capability of hooking them up pretty abruptly if I had to in like an emergency situation. But I do have a GMRS license. I do have some radios that'll do GMRS. Stuff like that. So yeah, it's I think anybody looking to get into radio in general probably should do GMRS over a CB radio, unless you just want to, what they say, shoot skip or something like that, or because that's really all that CB is pretty much used for anymore, I think.
Yeah. That's an interesting. That's an interesting corner to get back into, trying to make the point of what's the point of CB over GMRS? I get it because
GMRS is going to outperform CB radio all day long.
Yep.
Except for long distance, which technically, if you're in the United States, you're not allowed to talk over 150 miles on the CB radio, technically.
So my understanding is that there are CB radio antennas that are approved that are really, really big. So like if you play the CB game legally as per the FCC, meaning no amplifiers, you're barefoot, 5 watts. It's pretty much an antennas game. Like you want to get the biggest, baddest antenna and you can talk out further that way.
Well, that's a fact. But if you read it, I mean, that's a fact with any radio. I don't care what frequency you're on. You know, the bigger the antenna, the better off you are. You know, if you got a beam up, like I said, I seriously thought about pulling the trigger on a hex beam the other night, even though this antenna works phenomenal for me. But you know, realistically, that is true. If you know, little bit of power, low power, and big antenna, that's kind of the goal. And that's like I was saying in my live the other night. You can spend $20,000 on an HF radio, but if you have a crappy antenna, that $20,000 radio is going to perform like a cheap piece of crap. So you know.
Yep. Yeah, and people are really, whenever they're new, they think they're really, myself included, it's really easy to get into the just push out more watts thought process.
Well, and I go QRO. I mean, I got this thing. You know, it's nothing for me to throw a KW out there. Whatever, no big deal. Do I have to? No. Do I do it? Yeah. Just because I can, you know. But when I'm in the middle of QRZ and stuff, you know, because I work. I don't know if you've ever watched my. Well, I guess did you watch my live the other night? Maybe you did.
I think I did stop in.
But I sit here like once a week and work pileups. Like I literally start calling and I just get massive pileups. And I only run about 400 or 500 watts, and I'm in the middle of my pileups. I've literally been talking to people. I'm like, well, here, let's try this. Here's 9 watts, and they're like, yeah, you're still like 5 and 7. Like, so do I really need to run it? No, but do I want to? Yeah, absolutely.
Joseph is asking, how can I boost my CB to get out? We have a bunch of kids and few older people just take over the CB around us and kill the CB. My advice would be, as what we were just saying, it's an antenna game. You want to get the biggest and best antenna you can, the highest off the ground that you can, I think is a general rule of thumb.
I agree with you 100%. 110% on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't go down the amplifier route until you have your antenna down packed like 100%.
Just make sure you know what you're doing. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, I blew out a couple radios trying to figure out amplifiers.
Don't be in there like opening up the radio and spreading all the coils out either, because that does nothing. Just because you see more power come out of the back doesn't necessarily mean it's doing more power where you're talking. Just saying.
I actually had to turn mine down a little bit to run it to an amp, so.
Yeah.
Radios with Jackson. So we got, okay, he's in here now. After this match, let's get him in as a host.
All right. Just bought some. See, this guy says, Andy, he says, just bought some HTs for GMRS. Could you explain the coax antenna part to get me going? Well, for an HT, that's, you know, I mean, I guess you're going to want a bigger antenna. But the whole coax thing with GMRS, you know, if you're going to run an external antenna, your coax, you're going to want to run minimum something along the lines of like LMR 400, because you're up in the 400 megahertz band. That's not why LMR 400. That's just a good double shielded, low loss coax, or even bigger coax, depending on how long your run's going to be. So in the UHF portion, if you have a 100-foot run of, say, like RG8X, like that little tiny coax, and you're pushing, call it 100 watts out into an antenna through that coax, you're probably going to lose about 50% of your signal before it even touches your antenna. So if you're putting out 100 watts, you're going to get 50 of the antenna. And then whatever gain the antenna has will then up the amount of technical power, the effective ERP is what they call it, effective radiated power that comes out of the antenna. So it will boost it a little bit, assuming your antenna is big enough to have gain, like a collinear antenna. So like what I run, I'll show you, and this is just for 2 meters and 70 centimeters. So this stuff here, this is the RG8X. That goes from my 2-meter radio to the watt meter, and then to my antenna is this stuff. Much bigger. There, you can see right there, too. There's the difference. So this is my HF stuff. I run a lot of power through it.
What is the HF? Is it LMR 400?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, that's
same with
really hard to
UHF
work
and
with, isn't it?
VHF. So just basically, you're going to be, if the less loss is going to be better line. Double shielded coax is what you're going to want. I got another buddy who runs stuff. He runs UHF and VHF, and he runs half-inch hardline. He runs like a 150-foot run, and it's half-inch hardline. And the reason why is because of the losses on it.
I just reposted a video of somebody that I follow that has a pretty decent radio setup. I think, if I'm understanding correctly, and I might not be, but I think he's using ladder line as his feed line, and then he breaks that ladder line out into a dipole. And he said that is because coax has high loss.
Well, where's he talking?
My understanding is that this is I don't know what it's for.
So he's correct. Ladder line, 450 ohm ladder line has virtually no loss. It's not good for the high bands, though. It's not good for them. You can make it work, but it's hard. Coax is very lossy, but when you're on HF, like for instance, say on 20 meters where I'm sitting right now, the losses, if I'm throwing 1,000, we'll just call it 100 watts. If I'm throwing 100 watts out there through some RG8X, the little stuff, this stuff down here, that little green, that stuff there with the green on it, if I'm throwing 100 watts through that or 100 watts through that, and say they're 100-foot runs, you're not really going to notice an awful lot of difference. So the higher the frequency, the more lossy the line is. So when you're getting up into UHF, or even these guys that are running up in like the 1.2 gigahertz band, like if you're running 100 feet of LMR 400 at 1.2 gigahertz and you're putting out 100 watts out of your radio, you're only getting like 20 watts of the antenna after that run of LMR 400. So for instance, like repeaters that I own up on mountains, hardline for 2 meters, we got half-inch hardline. That's it. We don't. You can't have the losses. It's you can research all of it. In fact, if you go into LMR website, they'll show you all the breakdowns of it. It's pretty interesting to actually see the decibel of loss per 100 feet on different types of coax. It's like, wow. And it really makes you second guess what you're doing sometimes. It did me anyway.
Yeah, I have a in-fed half wave that I just have 100 feet of wire. I haven't actually cut it to tune it to anything yet, because I like to use it for shortwave listening as well, and I am a technician, so I'm not really broadcasting on 20 or 40 anyways, even though I'm planning to cut it around, I think, 80 feet to have it for 40. Yeah, I think that's right. I have the links here. I just have to cut it to whatever it needs to be cut to. But I have really high SWR, and the antenna tuner that I have, which is pretty good at tuning up, I have another... Side note, I have another link that's cut to it, and the two of them combined give me pretty good resonance on 40 and 20, wildly enough. But this antenna tuner is pretty cool because it tells me basically how much power would be making it to the antenna if it wasn't tuning it, or whenever it's how much power is making it versus how much is coming from the radio. And if the SWR is really off, it's pretty crazy to see how much loss there is.
Yeah, it is crazy. Yeah, it's that. Yeah, so you're a tech. Okay, that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. That's awesome. You plan on getting your general, though, I'm assuming, right?
Yep. Yeah. Actually, been passing the study exam. I've just been sideswiped with some life stuff, so it's kind of set that on the back burner. But I have the knowledge down. I've been taking the practice tests, and I have that. I wouldn't say I have the knowledge down. I would say I have the questions memorized, to be more accurate.
I understand. I'm a VE man. I get it. But so I'm going to get back real quick here to Andy. He's the one who's talking about the GMRS. I got sidetracked on that coax thing. I've got so much stupid information in my brain, it'll just blow your mind. So bear with me on this because I spew it out as it comes in my mouth. So anyway, Andy, the Diamond X50. I have a Diamond X50. It will work. You just need to tune it. You need to adjust the. Well, actually, I think you can buy them now that'll actually work in that band up there on the 460 megahertz or whatever. I think it's around 460 megs for GMRS off the top of my head. But if you can't, then I know like the one I have is not built for it, and you can actually tune it out with the radials, and you can make it work for it. So yeah, they're good antennas. They're just the gain is minimal. And I'm not telling you, Andy, the LMR 400 is not going to work for you. I'm just telling you, get a good low loss double shielded coax, because like I said, you start getting up around 400 to 500 megs. There's a lot of loss, man. That's all, you know. And I'm not saying it's gonna hinder the performance of it like ridiculously terrible. Like, oh, they're only gonna hear you 100 feet away. Like, it's not gonna be to that extent, but it will be noticeable.
Yeah, I think I agree. Whenever I upgraded LMR 400, it was noticeable for me as well. I'm running on a homemade antenna, but the noticeable difference was for weaker signals. That I wasn't receiving before that I could see now. You know.
Well, and your receive will dictate your transmit as well. You got to remember that also. And Joe, 73, buddy, Whiskey X-Ray 4, Alpha Delta X-Ray. How long time no see there, my friend?
I forgot to say, hey, Laura, how's it going? Long Road, Texas. And then also President McKinley. Do you have any experience with that by chance, Travis?
Sounds like a CB.
Yeah.
Heard of him.
Yeah, I've heard of him too, but I haven't touched him. El Raton, welcome. Bienvenido, señor.
Let's see. Joe just purchased an FT710 at Hamcation. Right on, buddy. You lucky dog, get to go to that. Yeah, you get that dipole up. We'll make some contacts for sure.
Right. Have a good one, Laura. Okay. Okay, we got an invite. Why does it say ask to wait? Ask this viewer to wait for you? Hey, Raton, that's not I don't think that's the right thing. I have to add you as a host, as a co-host. So, hey, if you go make your own live, go start your own live real quick, and then I'll send you
All right.
Wait, you won't... Travis, you're good. I'm talking to Raton.
So, hey, Dutchman, I got a bunch of people asking questions here. If I mute you, can you hear me or no?
If you mute me, I can still hear you, and that's fine. You can totally answer.
Okay, I just don't want to interrupt in your feed there, because I got a bunch of people asking me different things here. Okay. So if it's okay, I'm just going to mute you for a couple minutes here and blabber on for just a couple of minutes. If I get too much, we'll figure it out here.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you just put your hand in front of the camera, you know?
All right. Okay, so Andy, is that a high gain? I think that's what I need. Free knowledge. Feed me more. Yeah, I'll feed you what you want. Oh, hello there, Laura. Yeah, so what I have up here, if you go onto my videos there, Andy, and look at what I got. I recently just put up a Diamond X510, which is much higher gain, like on 70 centimeters, which is around 400 megs. Call it 440 hertz. It's something like 13 dB gain. It's crazy. So it works really, really well. And 2 meters is, around 145, 146 megs is like 8.5 decibel gain. That X50, I think, is like 3.8 or 4 decibel gain. So it is a collinear antenna. That X50 is. It's a good antenna. So it's longer than a 5/8 wave. So it's now like a stacked. It's like 3 stacked half waves, if that makes sense. Like I said, the X50, the X510, all those bigger UHF, VHF antennas, they're considered a collinear antenna is what they call them. But buddy, I have more knowledge in this brain about ham radio. I've been doing this stuff like almost 30 years, man. I mean, feel free to text me. If you get on QRZ, I'm good on QRZ. You can shoot me an email. You can message me on here. You can get me in my lives. I mean, just whatever. I don't mind sharing. Joe, what do you got, buddy? Let's hear it. You like to ask questions about your attic antenna design. What do you got? Andy, real quick here. Yeah, I'm kind of just going through these as I'm seeing them here. Homemade, there's nothing wrong with it, buddy. Rock and roll it. If you build it, put it up. I've got like 2 homemade antennas up, and I tell you what, the best antenna I've ever used in my entire life is the one that you're seeing my radio on right now, and I built that antenna, and it freaking works, man. I mean, it is the best transmitter antenna I have ever built. Works awesome. Works better than any commercial antenna I've ever bought. And believe me, I've bought a lot of commercial antennas as far as like production. So rock and roll it, buddy. Build them. It's awesome. Logan, Texas. Yeah, your 9-to-1 long wire, buddy. Works great. Absolutely. Let's see here. That's what I'm working up to. It's getting started in the GMRS world. You got a lot to learn, buddy, and that's okay. You know, you'll get there, buddy. All right, Joe. I'm alive all the time, mostly. So, all right, buddy. We got a lot happening tonight. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate you being in. You have a great night. 73, my friend, from Whiskey 7 Tango Victor Sierra, out here in the town that holds your pants up, called Belt, Montana. Yeah, Andy, we got you back. We got you covered, buddy. We got your back, man. No problem. That's what we like to do out here. You know, we like to help you guys out. Keith EMT-B, thank you for being in there and liking the live. Dave T, yeah, the homemade dipole or J-pole works really good. Let's see here. Keith, Kilo Delta 2, Zulu, Romeo, Bravo. Good evening, sir, from Whiskey 7 Tango Victor Sierra. You don't have a GMDSS radio operator's license, get out of my trap house. Okay, cool. Kilo Juliet 5, Delta Hotel Romeo, you're welcome, buddy. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you being in there. All right, I'm going to get back to what I got going here. I don't want to take over what's happening here. Like I don't know what the heck's going on. Oh, Marine commercial license? No, I don't have the Marine commercial license. Whose YouTube you recommend on that J-pole? You can get all the supplies at Lowe's. J-poles can be built. You build them out of copper pipe, man. Super simple, real basic, straightforward. They work really good. Just throwing it out there. They work great. Okay. All right.
Hey, can you hear me? Hey, sorry, I've been listening. So have you built your own J-poles?
Yep.
Do you have a background in like copper soldering?
Sweat and copper, yeah, it's easy, man.
Okay. Yeah, I've never done it before, but I've heard that those copper J-poles are so good. Like I've been wanting one.
They work really well. There's one floating around that I built a long time ago. And hello, Spirit. Thanks for coming in, buddy. It's a super J-pole is what it is. A 2-meter monoband. This thing's like 8 or 9 feet long. I don't remember the exact dimensions, but it has like a halo on it too, up about 2/3 the way up the long leg of it. And that thing has floated around to so many ham operators, new hams. And I think it's over in Oregon. I'm pretty sure that's where that thing's at right now, is over in Oregon, being used by a new ham. And that's what that antenna kind of turned into, just a floater, so to speak, get people on the air.
That's awesome. Do you recommend any pre-built J-poles or anything along those lines? Does such a thing exist?
Oh, yeah. They build them. They kind of look funky. They don't really look like, cactus styles that I would call like a J-pole that I would build. But yeah, they're okay. I mean, they work. You can buy them. Most of them are like quarter wave or half wave, 2 meter. Typically, some of them are 2 meter and 70 centimeter. They have an extra little stub on them. You can buy them commercially. I don't know what the brands are. You can get on HRO or DX Engineering or Gigaparts or whatever your favorite ham radio purchasing website is.
Yeah. I think I've only ever went through a HRO.
Well, they all have pros and cons. I've probably spent more money at HRO in my life than any other ham radio retail establishment, but I have bought from about all of them at some point in time. And that Dave, so a guy here says, I have J-poles for many bands. You can build them for any band at all. That's the beautiful part about it. If you want to build one long enough, you can build one for 75 meters. I mean, you might have to guide wire it, but you can do it.
It would be a tower and an antenna. I guess a whip. I guess it would be. It'd be a really long whip.
Yeah, it'd just be. You might as well just put up a tower and shunt feed it at that point. I mean,
Well, yeah, I don't know. I thought we'd give the TikTok battle thing a shot, but I don't know if it works the best with the whole ham radio thing. We might try to think of some way that it would be competitive with and we could include the radio too, you know?
Right. Yeah. And I'm like I said, I'm not really good at it. The only thing I really know how to do on live is either work pileups or have what I call ham radio chat. Answer questions and stuff. And I do like what you got going there with your microphone, by the way, where you're hanging it.
Oh, thank you.
Da-da-da-da. Look at that.
Great minds.
Yeah, I put that there years ago. I built this bench, by the way.
Oh, that's awesome.
There.
Yeah. I don't know if I've showed you mine. It's a crate.
Heck yeah, buddy.
Yeah, the whole thing's in a crate. I got a solar panel on the window, and then in the inside I have a 20 amp hour LiPo that powers the whole thing. This is Velcro. It's a keyboard for Raspberry Pi, and then I have a charger for USB. Got the mic for the CB, the G90, and then a Raspberry Pi. And then this lets me choose whether I pull from the battery or the power supply, and then there's the power supply. And I have this out here because I wanted, like, if anything goes wrong with the power supply, I wanted to be able to switch it out and, like, be able to test that. And then also I have the antenna tuner and the amplifier.
That's awesome, dude. You got quite the setup going on there.
Yeah. I wanted something, the idea was that I could unplug the peripherals from the box and take it out to do PODA or whatever.
That makes sense. See, I'm stationed. I've got it in my pickup. I've got an IC7000. Like, I'm mobile HF, so I'm just like, whatever. This is all stationed. This stays here. This doesn't move. Sorry, I had a drink of my beverage there. I guess you kind of saw it, but for inquiring minds, I know real quick here, Andy, is it better to learn to make your own end up for the coax or buy it made up? I'll tell you right now, buddy, anymore, I'm pretty lazy. So I'm getting older, and I'm not as good as I used to be with a soldering iron. So I just buy prefab, typically. I've still got PL259s. I've got silver solder. I've got the soldering gun. I've got all the stuff to do it. I just, it's so much easier to just buy it. If I was going to be running like tremendous amounts of power, like, running like 10 kilowatts, I'd probably solder my own. I don't think I'd trust anything from the factory, but, just order it, dude. Just order it. That's all I can tell you. Anyway, so what I got here, my shack, everything comes through the fancy window here. I'm in the basement, by the way. So this window's at ground level, which it's pretty well locked up. You can kind of see I've got, yeah, that's how my coax all comes in.
Gotcha.
Anyway, there's my switch box, and I need to put up another antenna. I want to build a 40-meter dipole, or maybe a X-beam's going up. I don't know. Anyway, got an extra spot there on the switch box.
Ooh, five different channels for switch box. That's cool.
Well, 4. The middle one's an input.
Ah, okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, so like when I'm not using anything, click, it goes. That's a ground. So that right there is what they call an arc plug. That's the beautiful part about these Alpha Delta ones. They have an arc plug. So we have like lightning and stuff out here, pretty fair amount of it. So, in the spring, summer, and fall, well, all year round, I'm not in here. That goes click to ground. You can see the ground symbol right there under the comm. Mm-hmm. And so if we get a close lightning strike, it'll actually blow that arc plug before it does anything else. It'll just go to dead short.
That's awesome.
And let's see, Andy, the switch there does one antenna feed both ham and CB. No, that's all ham radio. I don't have any CB stuff set up in here. And I got this tuner here, this big.
Just threw a wire in a tree. So did I.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. I've made more contacts around the world with 100 watts and a wire strung up in a tree than anything else, to be blatantly honest. I was a broke teenager at one point, and that's all I had was a cheap HF rig and a wire. So guess what? But anyway, I use that thing mostly to watch my power output and my reflected power.
Okay.
And so it's actually bypassed. You can see it says bypass. I don't ever take it off of bypass. My antennas are resonant.
Oh, you use your tuner as an SWR meter. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do with mine once I get my SWR where I want it.
Yeah,
like,
I'm sorry.
I had some CB guys. Sorry to interrupt. I had some CB guys tell me like, I don't know why you'd put a antenna tuner in line. Like, if you don't need it, why would you throw it in line? Those same guys have an SWR meter, and that's essentially what you'd be using it as.
Same thing. I use it but that's my final output behind my amplifier. That's my very final output. So it comes straight off that switch, or straight from that tuner into that switch. That's the very final piece before it goes essentially to the antenna. So to whichever antenna that thing's sitting on.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's bypass. And so I literally use that. This one's rated for a KW. So I use that to watch my power output, and it also shows me my reflected SWR at the same time. So that's one of the 3 meters that I watch when I'm out here QRZing and stuff, put the hammer down, as I like to call it. And then I got this big bad boy here. This is another antenna tuner. It's not hooked up, but it just looks cool. This is
okay. I have a question. Okay. These old school like switch antenna tuners, how do they work? Like from a high level, you don't have to get too in detail, but like I just look at it and I'm like, I'm confused. I became a ham in the era of the automatic antenna tuner. You press tune and then key up.
So this is called a roller inductor tuner, is what this is. So you got your antenna matching. You got your inductance selector. Listen to this. You hear that big chunk? Like that's not a roller. This is a roller. See, that's quiet. That's an inductance switch. And then of course it has lightning protect, so that puts it to ground, operate, and then you can tune or bypass. And then you have a transmitter matcher. Okay, so really the big ones here is going to be, you're going to start out with your antenna matcher. You got to have a watt meter in line. Okay, so basically you're going to throw a CW carrier out there. First thing you're going to do is you're going to watch this. You're going to watch your meter. Like, oh, okay, you're tuning it for max output. Okay, cool. Antenna matching, you want your SWR. Okay, cool. So you're going to go highest power rating. And on this meter, this is your power. This is your SWR. They didn't have these back when this antenna tuner was built. Anyway, so you adjust for best output with lowest SWR. Okay, if you can't get anywhere, then you come over here with your CW key and you watch your meter and you start checking your inductance selector. Pretty quick, boom, everything will drop. Oh, I want the SWR down, power went up, bam. Okay, now your inductance is good. Then you come over here and you match your transmitter to it. So again, you come back to your meter and you go, okay, we're going to tune for maximum power, and boom, there it is. And that's how you use them. It's that simple. And that's the same thing that this does. This just does it automatically with the motors in it. That's it.
That's a really thorough explanation. I've seen that process in pieces, and I really, really appreciate you explaining it.
Yeah, and until you do it, like even with this thing, this amplifier. So I sit on 20 meters pretty much all the time. Okay. Sometimes I'll play on 75. So I do have a 75 meter dipole up. So first thing I'd do is I'd go down there. Okay, now we're on the 75 meter dipole. I know it's a 75 meter dipole because I have a ferrite choke on it. That's how I remember it. So I turn that down to there. And then I'd have to come over here. And I'd have to go click to 3.5. And then I'd have to turn it down to CW, which drops my voltage way down. You can watch that fall. That's about where it sits, around 1800, 1900 volts. Yeah, throw a CW key, and then this thing here, you can see where that's at, and it's sitting right about 14 there. So whoever had this before me marked on this thing. I never did that. Anyway, and then it's usually right around that 3.5 mark, give or take a little bit. And then you load it up. And it's kind of a pain in the butt, but that's how old school was, man. That's how it was. And you ran, everything was tube, including your transceiver. Not just your amplifiers. Everything was roller inductor and tubes. And if you had to switch bands, it took a few minutes.
Yeah, I had a old Kenwood TS, I think 530S, and it had some of those as well, like inductance and tune-up. And as a new ham, I was so confused as to what I was looking at.
Heck yeah. OBS. Hey, real quick here, hang on. OBS 94 Ford. Seeing what on Marketplace for $400? The Clipperton L or the tuner? I need to know which one you're talking about because
Probably a Baofeng. It's probably talking about a Baofeng.
yeah, about for $400. That's a deal. Anyway, so we'll move along here real quick. The Clipperton L. Really? Well, if you found a working Clipperton L for $400, even if you're not going to use it, I think you should scoop it. Because honestly, that's what I paid for this one, and it was a really good deal. I need to switch that back to 14 megs before I forget about it. Anyway, so I have another tuner right here, another auto tuner. And just to get a little more thorough on it, that is connected between that radio and that amplifier because this old Clipperton L does not have a tuned input. So I have to have a tuner to make my radio happy. Now, if this was an old school tube rig, I would just tune it and it wouldn't matter. That's why these things didn't have tuned inputs because they were designed for tube radios. Makes sense.
Kind of. To be honest with you, I thought that the so my radio, I go from my radio to my tuner to my radio to my amp to my tuner. Because the antenna itself needs to be tuned. Like that's where the SWR is off or is fixed. At least I thought, but is that wrong?
Nope, you're 100% right. Now I have almost a like 1.2 to 1.3 to 1 across 20 meter band. Okay, so again, that's
so you
why
don't have that problem at all.
this is bypassed. So again, this tuner, so you're 100% right on the way you got yours set up. So
okay,
this amplifier goes into that tuner, to that big tuner, and then that tuner goes into that switch, and then I choose whatever antenna I want. Now, this tuner is between the 7300 and the Clipperton L. Because the Clipperton L does not have a tuned input. The newer amps, like the Ameritrons, they have a tuned input, so the radio sees 50 ohms. It's happy all the time. If I don't put a tuner in the middle there, which I could probably use a tuner on the radio, I just have this tuner. Just happen to have it laying around. So
yeah.
Realistically, if you don't run a tuner between these new age radios and these old amplifiers with no tuned input, you're going to see a massive SWR and you're going to blow up your radio, or can blow it up. Not cool. So, and of course we got our lambic paddle here.
That's beautiful.
Which I'm terrible at. I learned that almost 28 years ago. That's the one I learned on, and that's the same one I still have. I can actually code on that one. I still haven't hardly figured this stupid thing out. I try.
I 3D printed this. Here, I can scoot back my camera a tad. I 3D printed this and attached it to a piece of wood, and it works.
That's legit. Oh, and these are QSL cards, by the way. That's why I got envelopes of stamps on them.
Have you done QSL Morse or?
I'm not very good at it anymore. I can receive better than I can transmit anymore. You had to do it at one point. I had to learn it to pass the test.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm just not that good at it anymore. I play with it here and there, but I keep threatening to get back into it, but I just never quite do it. There's a shack dog. Watch out, little dog.
Shack dog.
Got me a shack dog right there. Look at him. He needs a haircut. Yeah, he's a dog. But anyway, then we got our little Kenwood right there, which there ain't jack for a 2 meter 70 centimeter. Yeah. 2 meter 70 centimeter. There ain't jack going on out here on that.
Yeah. Yeah, here either. There's quite a few clubs and there are nets, but outside of the nets, nobody really talks.
Well, I own a repeater over in Western Oregon up on a hill. That's where I'm from originally. And it's still going over there. It's my buddies, they take care of it, In fact, they were just up there over the weekend. They went up there and put a new antenna up and replace some hard line and stuff like that,
That's awesome.
I had to sign the coordination over because I wasn't in state anymore, which is fine. But yeah, so I've done a bunch of that stuff too. So long story short, with that, with the club there, we're working on setting something up. I might be able to run a net again. We'll see what happens. I'm all right, sweetheart. I'm almost done anyway. But anyway, that's kind of my station over here, man. Of course, I got my junk heap over there, and but yeah, the foot pedals. Yeah, can't forget about that. So that little guy right there, that keys that radio up, and that bigger guy right there. I'm in my jammies. Yeah, I just got home from work here about an hour and a half ago. So anyway,
the foot pedals are cool. I need to get me a foot pedal actually.
Well, so that bugger right there, that big one, that keys up that radio and that amplifier. See?
Oh, that's cool.
I mean, well,
that's an interesting problem. You have to key up both.
No, they key up at the same time. No, I just right here.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yep,
from the radio.
Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. So now we're live on the air just by kicking that one foot pedal right there. See? Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Whiskey 7, Tango, Victor, Sierra. As I'm like 2 feet away from the microphone here, but anyway.
That's cool. I like the power meter.
Yeah, it does look kind of cool here. I'll give you a better demo of it. Let's see. Let me see how much power I got going here. We'll try for about 1,000 watts. Let's see. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Whiskey 7, Tango, Victor, Sierra. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's really all I use that meter for. And then there's this meter. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Check 1, 2, 3, 4. That peaked out about 1.2 kW. Whiskey 7, Tango, Victor, Sierra. But then it dumbs down though too, because you run it from there, then you run it into there, and that dumbs it down a little bit. Then you go into there, and that dumbs it down a little more, and
Where are you bumping out that that all that power? You're on 14?
14,263.
263. Is that upper side?
Upper side band. You couldn't hear me?
I wasn't tuned to it. I'm gonna give it a shot.
All right,
I'm in Oklahoma City, and I have pretty decent SWR, but my antenna is only about 6 feet up or so. So
that's fine. You ready?
Yep.
Whiskey 7, Tango, Victor, Sierra.
I absolutely heard you.
Figured.
That's awesome.
Most people do.
Yeah, right. With that much power out, I'm sure.
Well, I'll be honest with you, man. A lot of it's the antenna. The other part of it, I live on a hill. It's not a tremendously big hill, but I do live up on a hill. So the town of Belt, Montana, where I live, is honestly in a hole. So when you're up on the highway and you turn off to come to Belt, you drive downhill like 1.5 miles, and then all of a sudden, oh, hey, look, a town. And it's down in the middle of a canyon. Okay? Now, I still am not above the canyon by any means, but I live above the town. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, there's houses that are a little higher on the hill than me, but I'm above the town. So from my front room window upstairs, I can see almost the whole town. It's a really small town, by the way, just saying.
That's good. Less noise anyways, and then you're kind of above that noise floor of what little town there is.
Well, right now, I mean, my noise is nothing. As long as my son doesn't plug in his tablet or something. See, how do I get this stupid... I forget how to work this thing sometimes. Holy cow.
Yeah. Hey, did you say that you're probably going to have to get going soon?
Yeah, probably. I need to.
Okay. Yeah, I was just making sure. I got invited to do a battle, so I was wondering.
All right. Well, I'll let you go, man. And, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to go watch TV with the wife or something for a while. And
it's my wife that was inviting me.
But... Oh, that's cool. But hey, yeah, no problem, buddy. But hey, I appreciate you hanging with me. And, like I said, for you or anybody else listening or even anybody in my live here, man, if you have any questions or anything, man, like I said, I've got so much freaking knowledge. It's just unbelievable, But before you go, I do want to show you this because this is, I'm in the basement, see? Anyway. This is one of my favorite parts of my little shack here.
Ooh.
That's about 6 foot across, about 4 foot tall, something like that.
I always like to, whenever I come check out a world map, I always try to like guess whenever it was made. I always go to Russia. I feel like that's a good marker. I had it, my old job, they had it, and I still had the Soviet Union. Oh, there we go. Okay.
No, that one's pretty new. I only had it for about a year. I bought it brand new. And then my wife forced me to put this up.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know.
That thing is awesome, man. That world map.
Yeah, it's pretty legit. It's kind of cool. You know, it makes a nice touch to the radio room. And of course, every ham operator keeps their boxes. So,
yes.
You know, there's that. I got boxes over here.
Yeah.
Anyway. Oh, I got Baofangs too. There you go. Baofang radios, just in case.
Baofeng squad. Absolutely. I got 2.
Yeah. Tubes.
Oh, that's cool.
Anyway. All right, buddy. Well, I'll let you go.
Yeah. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and showing off your shack, man. That's a really awesome shack. So I think once I get my general, it'd be really cool to make contact with you.
Dude, let's do it, man. You get in here, you make contact with me. I will shoot you a QSL card, man. By the way, this is my QSL card right there. If you get on my QRZ page, you'll also see it. That's right above my beloved beer right there. Get that beer. Anyway.
That's awesome.
All right.
Got the Union scanner.
Yeah, I've never even opened that. In fact, I've got a disco antenna. It's put together in my living room. My wife's getting kind of annoyed, but it's like really cold out and a bunch of snow, so I haven't been able to put it up yet. So once I get that antenna up, I'm gonna plug that thing in upstairs.
Yeah.
But anyway. So
all right, man.
buddy.
Thanks for so much for hanging out with me, man. We're gonna have to do this again. It was seriously a lot of fun.
All right, well, good. I'm glad you had a good time, man. That's what this is all about. So check out my YouTube. It's in my bio. That's all I got.
Yep. Yeah. All right.
All right, buddies. Hey, 73, man. Have a great night.
Yep. 73, Travis. Thank you, sir.
All right. Catch you later.
All right.
All right, everyone in here tonight. Thank you for coming in. I know there were some more questions in here, too. Thanks, Andy. I appreciate it, buddy. Just give me a follow. You know, that's all I ask, man. Just check out some of my content. I love radio. It's my hobby. I've been doing it for almost 30 years. It's my gig. It's what I love doing. So I work for a company called John Deere. It's what I do for a living. And not a farmer. I just work for John Deere. But yes, I'm an extra class shadow. Absolutely. Yogi Wolf, thanks for the follow. I appreciate all you guys out there. So anyway, like I said, just check my stuff out, man. That's all I ask. Everything's looking good on the up and up. That's the whole ham station. I think we give a pretty good tour of it tonight here. And anyway, I'm going to go hang out with my wife. And yeah, you can get some free knowledge there, Andy. There's some knowledge out there, buddy. So when I do my lives, like this one here, honestly, I'm going to upload it to YouTube. In fact, I got another one I got to upload to YouTube also. And I do other random videos, like the video of that X510 that I just put up recently. It's on my YouTube and it's on my TikTok also. And you'll see my big 20-meter horizontal dipole that I built. Like, it's all there, man. So check it out. There's some cool stuff there. I'm a bad teacher. Bear with me, but, you know, I've got a lot of knowledge, so... 73 Kilo India 5 Uniform Tango Sierra. Thank you for coming in, sir. I really appreciate it. Chris, yeah, you get that technician license, buddy. You're going to get it, too. I know you will. As long as you've been studying, you're going to get it, my friend. Congratulations. Good job. Preemptive congratulations. You let me know and remind me, but let me know that you got that license because I want to know. I'm a VE, man. I love it. Right here. Check this out. Look. Right there. Uh-oh, volunteer examiner. There we are. See that? I'm an extra class examiner, so I love it. Anyway, let me know, man. That's cool. Good job. It's awesome. Thanks for the follow, buddy. All right, guys, I'm out of here. I'm going to go spend some time with the YL, but I guess before I do that, I might as well show you. I showed you guys how I started everything up earlier, so now I'm going to show you how I shut it all down. Watch this. Bam! Shut that off. I always go over here, flip that switch there, let my voltage drop. While that's dropping, I come over here and I shut this off. Put my antenna as the ground. Come down here. Shut the power supply off. Then we come up here. That on standby. Turn that off. I should have showed you the tubes. I'm not turning it back on, but anyway, the tubes just went bye-bye. The lights out. And that's all she wrote. Shack's off. It's quiet. And I'm out of here. You should be a VE. It's a lot of fun. All right. Testing for your tech. February 24th. Looking forward to it. Right on, Tommy. Dude, bad to the bone, man. That's awesome. You're going to get it. Come back in. Follow me. Tommy, when you get your license, let me know. I want to hear about it, man. I want to hear it. I want you guys to tell me, hey, man, I got my technician license. That's awesome. And then once your call sign shows up, I want to know your call sign. I want to talk to you. I want to make contact with you. I want to be able to send you that QSL card in the mail. Let's do this, guys. Let's play ham radio. It's just awesome. It is so much fun. All of it is. You know, I'm part of a good club, thankfully. Just have a good time with it all the way around. So, anyway, hello, Leo. Thanks for coming in, buddy. Appreciate it, Eric. Appreciate the likes. Thanks for the follows, guys. I'm out of here. 73 from Whiskey 7 Tango Victor Sierra out here in the town that holds your pants up in Belt, Montana. But before I go, there's Shack Dog number 2. There's the old dog. Anyway, I'm out of here. 73, guys. November 1, Quebec Yankee uniform. And Kilo Charlie 2, Delta Bravo uniform. You guys aren't letting me leave. That's all right. You guys have a good night. I'm out of here. 73. W7 TVS out here in central Montana. And I am QRT.